Good morning and welcome to the Scope podcast. My name is Hethi Patel and I'm a first-year medical student at NYIT College of Osteopathic Medicine, and I'm excited to be today's podcast host. I'd like to introduce our special guest for today's conversation.
Hi everyone, my name is Vita Taufoli and I am a first-year medical student at NYIT Com. I'm excited to be here today.
Hi everyone, I'm Rich Tadros. I'm also a first year here at NYIT Com, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining our conversation on today's topic, how to maintain relationships with friends and families while managing the workload and time commitment of medical school. So where are you guys coming from?
So I'm from Northern Virginia, so that's a long ways from New York, and I have one younger sister and my parents are still in Northern Virginia. I live with one roommate right now, pretty close to campus.
I'm actually from Staten Island, so not too far, but I did have to move out here because that drive is horrendous, especially in like today's snow. That was never gonna happen. I have a younger sister and I live with my parents, or I live with my parents back home, and right now I live in a house with 7 other guys. So it's just a wonderful experience.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm actually from around here, 20 minutes from campus, so I'm pretty close to family and friends. So entering a new phase in our lives can be scary, especially if we're coming in feeling alone. How was this transition for you?
I could go first. So I was actually part of the BSDO program here, so I was very thankful to know not everyone, but I knew some people coming in. So that kind of made the transition fairly smooth. They kind of introduced me to each other because I didn't know them that well because I was from the city. They introduced me to each other, whoever they knew here, and that was pretty good. But I'd like to think I put myself a little bit out there just because I wanted to meet new people, and it was honestly a great experience because, like, for example, I met you guys, and it was like I got to make a lot of friends here, and that was really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so for me, it was a little bit different. I knew no one coming into it. I know a lot of people messaged on GroupMe or Facebook to find people that were in the incoming class, but I walked in literally knowing no one. Mm-hmm. And that was like a hard adjustment, but I think really putting myself out there and talking to anyone I saw, most people I met, everyone was super genuine and kind and really looking for that connection. Mm-hmm. So they were really receptive to me just going up to them, talking about anything, studying with them. So it's been a great experience.
It seems like all 3 of us went through something similar. Did you ever realize that many of your classmates were also struggling with similar feelings, even if it didn't look that way on the surface?
Actually, I did not realize that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got here, I thought like I was like unique in my situation, like no one understood like how alone I felt here, just because like I moved away from my family. But I feel like the closer I got and the more I put myself out there and the more I got to talk with people, I realized we're kind of all living the same life, just in different fonts. It was very interesting to kind of like leave my own bubble and see like, oh wow, everyone is also in their own bubble when you really look at it, and all the bubbles are about the same.
I think I have a different opinion from that. For me, since I went to an out-of-state school for college, I went to Vanderbilt, like having that experience, a lot of people here live pretty close or haven't really had that distance prior. So I think it's been harder for them to like maintain those relationships. Or if they're coming from an out-of-state area, not having those like connections with their family as much has been kind of difficult for them. So that's just something I've noticed, but I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, since I'm also from around the area like Ridge, I had a similar experience to him where I knew people going in, so it made it a little bit easier, but I would say I still felt feeling similar to you as well, Bita. So since we're already over a semester into the first school year, what are some realistic ways to stay connected when you truly don't have much time?
Yeah, so I think it's important to really emphasize medical school first. It's really easy to get distracted by all the other obligations, but when you focus on medical school first and make sure you're really solid in that, then you'll have time to do all the other things as well. That's something that I've noticed myself. If I'm stressed about school and I want to talk with my parents, like it won't take that long of a conversation. Like I can call them for 5 minutes and I'll still feel that connection. It doesn't have to be a long 2-3 hour conversation or going back home in order to feel that connection.
I feel like for me, I do like what Labita said. I like to keep a balance of how school is going versus, my social life. But for me, social life is really integrated into like part of my identity. So kind of studying with people, being on campus all the time or not all the time, but a lot of the time, is pretty important for me because it helps me stay connected with my friends here. All these new connections that I made, I like to keep them maintained. And I feel like it's important to kind of put effort into your village so that you have one. As far as my friends back home and my family back home, which I say home, but it's really like 2 hours away. I definitely check in with my parents every day. Like my parents and my sister are a really big part of my life. So I check in with them every day. And then all my friends, I definitely see them on a monthly basis. Like it's in our calendars, like we're gonna see each other every month. Either I come here, I go there, or they come here. And it's always nice, honestly.
I like what you both said about putting in even a little bit of time for your village. I feel like I like to do the same, even if it's just 5 minutes out of my day. But in contrast to that, how do you handle the guilt of not being able to show for your loved ones as often as you would like?
I think at the end of the day, it's really important to remember that we're trying to reach this like greater goal of like being a doctor, and it takes a lot of sacrifices, and that's something we're going to continue to have to make throughout our careers and then into residency. So I think a lot of it has to come with coming to terms with how much you can give. Even if you can give a little bit to your friends and family, they will understand. They know that you have this like greater passion that you're really pursuing. So that's one thing I've been doing.
I mean, for me, whenever I do go back home, and I try to make that as often as I can, but sometimes I am here months at a time. So I'm not really seeing my parents for like a month or two. When I do go back home though, I like to like really go out of my way to like spend all my time and be very present. I feel like being present is really important with how I maintain my connections. So when I'm here, I'm fully here. I'm present with my friends here. I'm present with my work here, my obligations here. And then when I'm home, I'm really present at home too. I make sure all the like time I have is dedicated to like hanging out with my sister, hanging out with my parents, making sure, you know, stuff around the house is okay. So I feel like for me, how I deal with the guilt is just by making sure I'm present as much as I can.
I love that. So it seems like we all are struggling with finding the time for our family and friends. So I'm not sure if you also have similar experiences, but I have family and friends who aren't in the medical field. So how do you explain the demands of medical school to people who aren't in medical school?
That's a really good question. I feel like honestly, I've been buttering my friends and family up for this for a while. Like I would have been part of the program, so the program has been taking my attention for the past 3 years. Like they saw the time dedication. So I feel like they've been buttered up long enough for to know like sometimes I just have to disappear and that's just the way it is. But they know that it's always for a good reason and I'll never like truly disappear. Like I'll always at least like with my friends do a weekly check-in. So they always like we always have that to look forward on both ends. But I feel like I've been buttering them up for it, so they should be prepared
That's
for it
awesome.
now.
So in my case, I'm pretty lucky in that my family are immigrants. So for them, education is the number one thing, and I'm also going to be the first doctor in my family. So they're all really proud of me for being able to do that and for being able to make it this far. And in terms of my friends, all of my best friends and closest friends are also in the healthcare field. So they also understand what it's like and they understand the demands because they're also going through it themselves. Yeah.
Damn,
I have-
powerhouse friend group.
I think I have like, you touched on having immigrant parents. My parents are from Iran, so I also have that experience. And mine is like kind of interesting because I think they expect me to spend even more time studying and doing other things. Like they expect me to take more out of the social aspect and really dive in more into medicine. And I think that's like been something hard for me to balance, those expectations of constantly being studying with what I know that I need to do to maintain every aspect of my life.
Right, I agree. So our phones play a big role in how we stay connected with people through long distance. What role does technology play in either helping or hurting connection for you?
So I've been in a long distance relationship for quite some time now. So I really rely on using FaceTime and technology to really maintain that. That's just one aspect of it. But I also think there's detriments to technology, whether it's through Reels or TikTok. Like I think it eats up a lot of the time you would have to either study or spend together.
I mean, I definitely use technology to like stay connected with my family and friends. It's how I FaceTime them, how I message them. I feel like the one thing that kind of sets me back though is FOMO. I see my family and friends like doing all these stuff, and I'm just stuck in like Mali or Rhode Island studying for the fifth day on loop. And I'm so tired, and they're like out having like steak or something. Like, please give me a break. So that's definitely like the one thing that was hindering me, if I will.
I definitely understand both of your struggles. What advice would you give to our future first year students who are worried about how medical school will impact their personal and social lives?
I feel like the advice I would give to future med students is to make sure you take it a step at a time. But in the process, don't forget to romanticize your life. Go out, have fun with your friends, make studying fun, like find a way to enjoy what you're doing. Cause the second, like we all came to medicine for a reason. The second passion leaves medicine, it is no longer medicine. It is apathetic, just kind of like caring for others. So make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing, enjoy your studying, reach out to family and friends, go on the Sunset Drive, wake up to watch the sunrise. Like make sure you take good care of your mental health, take good care of your village, and do your best to find a balance of your academics and your village and yourself. And while that's easier said than done, you'll definitely find a rhythm. It takes some time. I know I'm still figuring it out myself, but you'll definitely get there eventually. And once you do, you kind of reach flow state and it becomes great. And life becomes sunshine and rainbows. Not exactly, but you were working on it.
Right.
For future medical students, I would recommend not letting medicine become your entire life. It's important to take every day as a new opportunity to explore something new. But once you start letting medicine overtake your entire life, you lose who you are at your core. And as Ridge said, you lose that passion for life and medicine. And that's not what becoming a doctor is about. It's about establishing those relationships with people. So go out of your way, meet other individuals, and make the most of your time.
I completely agree. The energy that you pour into medicine, you also have to pour into yourself as well. All right, thank you, Ridge and Beta, for joining us today on our podcast conversation. This has been an amazing conversation with great ideas on how to maintain positive relationships throughout medical school. Thank you also to our valued podcast listeners, and I hope everyone has a great day.